Hello and welcome to the Sacred Cards channel. Thank you for joining me as I showcase my Magistus deck profile for December 2024. Yes, I've gone back to back with spellcaster archetypes. I've been having a lot of fun playing Yu-Gi-Oh lately, so that's exactly what I'm doing. Taking a deep dive into some of my favorite decks. Magistus cards work together to fuse, synchro, XCs, link, summon various monsters, and equip themselves with one another to obtain a variety of effects. Players have been innovating with builds for quite some time, so anyone working with the deck has many different options regarding the strategy they want to play. I love the input from the community, so definitely share your thoughts in the comments. I'll get into the deck profile and go over my card choices and what has worked for me throughout testing. Okay, beginning with the Magistus monsters. 3 copies of Zeroa, the Magistus of Flame. Maxing out on 3 copies of this level 4 tuner monster. One of my best starters is I can target any Magistus and equip it with a Magistus monster from my extra deck. To preface, Magistus cards equip themselves to one another to gain a variety of effects, depending on the monster equipped. If Zeroa becomes equipped, I can special summon a level 4 lower spellcaster from my hand or graveyard. Following Zeroa, we have 3 copies of Riliona, the Magistus of Air. When normal or special summoned, I can add a Magistus spell from deck to hand. Alternatively, I can return a banished level 4 lower spellcaster from my graveyard, which is a huge plus for this deck for a few Magistus cards. Also share Riliona's second ability to banish itself from my graveyard to equip a Magistus I control with a Magistus from grave. Next Magistus in line is 3 copies of Crowley, the Magistus of Grimoire. As an extended from hand, Crowley can special summon itself by sending a spellcaster monster from my hand or field. I can change Crowley's attributes simply by declaring another, while having the effect in grave to banish itself to equip a Magistus monster from my grave to one I control. And last available Magistus monster, I'm also running a playset of Endymion, the Magistus of Mastery. Much like Zeroa, I can equip a Magistus from my extra deck. Its other ability can destroy one of my face-up spells in order to draw a card and place one from my hand at the bottom of the deck, maxing out on 3 copies of each Magistus monster as I want to see these cards and utilize their effects as much as possible in order to be consistent. And if you're a fan of archetypes such as this, you may have seen the Witchcrafter deck profile I posted and know that I've been working with a small Performage package. Pertaining to Magistus, I'm also running 2 copies of Performage Hat Trick and 2 copies of Performage Trick Clown. So you can play whatever you like in these slots. Personally, these cards are just so much fun. The 2-and-2 ratio doesn't clog the deck and serves as great level 4 spellcaster extenders. Moving on with the engine spells, 3 copies of Magistus, which lets me reborn level 4 lower Magistus each main phase, I can special summon a level 4 spellcaster from my hand, or if I send Magistus from my field to grave, I can special any number of Magistus with different names from my hand. Next, I have 2 copies of Magistus Vitra, which is essentially like a Monster Reborn. You can bring back a level 4 or lower Magistus monster. And plus, its secondary ability can... I can banish it in grave to protect all Magistus cards in my spell trap zone if my opponent tries to Harpy's Feather Duster. 2 copies of Magistus Theurgy. This quick play spell lets me equip my Magistus monster from my extra deck. I love being able to get whatever equip effects I need, plus my Zeroa Synchro monster prevents my opponent from activating effects of the same type. So if they snipe my XCs or Link monster, for example, so they can play, I have the ability to chain a quick effect to equip another. And last Magistus main deck spell is 1 copy of Magistus Invocation. This is a fusion spell to summon my copies of Iwas in the extra deck. I can search this spell off Riliona's effect, as well as any of the other Magistus spells for that matter. With this spell's ability, I may also use Magistus monsters I have equipped for the cost of the fusion summon. And for consistency spells, I'm running one copy of Spell Power Mastery, which is a search for Magistus of Endymion, and 2 Pot of Desires, just a really good boost for consistency for this deck in my opinion, whether I need to draw engine pieces or interruption. I built the deck for balance and not hyper consistency. And the last card in the main deck is Monster Reborn, just to serve as a powerful form of recovery and extension. Okay, so that's the last of the engine spells. So moving into the last few slots dedicated to cards that disrupt my opponent. Play more engine pieces if you like, stun cards, traps, or whatever suits your play style, whatever you find most enjoyable. I'm playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 3 Effect Veiler, 3 Droll, 2 Talents, and the 1 Called by the Grave. So great hand traps with Veiler, Droll, and Ash. Obviously, Veiler and Droll, both being spellcasters, provide that extra resource should I find extra copies in my hand, or simply need to meet the requirements of discarding a spellcaster for a Magistus effect. Triple Tactics Talent to punish my opponent for interrupting my turn, and a copy of Called by the Grave to round out what I deem to be a fun, balanced deck that I highly recommend giving a go. As mentioned previously, you can play Secret Village if you like, stun traps to further lock out your opponent, cut the engine down, or if you don't want to play Desires, you can play whatever suits your play style. Just make sure it's a deck you have fun playing at the end of the day. So now moving into a very important extra deck right now, as these cards provide the equip effects to boost the variety of powerful monsters the archetype has access to. So beginning with beautiful QCR playset of Artemis the Magistus Moon Maiden. Absolutely gorgeous Link 1 monster acquiring a level 4 lower spellcaster, and a card the deck heavily relies on, whether using its effect when equipped to add a Magistus monster from my deck to my hand, or the versatile effect being able to equip itself to another Magistus monster if one is normal or special summoned while Artemis is on the field. So the next section for the Synchro monsters, I'm playing arguably one of the best boss monsters in the deck in 2 copies of Zeroa Calamity and 1 copy of Varum Divinity Dragon. So much like for Zeroa, it's a level 8 Synchro, much like its main deck counterpart. When Zeroa is summoned, I can equip a extra deck monster. The draw towards Calamity is that my opponent can't activate monster effects with the same type of cards that it's equipped with. The dream idea being that because Magistus utilizes every type of summoning mechanic, I can lock my opponent out from using the effects of fusions, links, synchros, XCs, and even main deck effect monsters to make it extremely difficult to deal with. Varum has a powerful effect to blow up all face-up cards my opponent controls if it's destroyed, but it's much more useful on the back of another monster. When equipped, my Magistus can't be destroyed by my opponent's spell and traps, and any monster equipped with this card, if it attacks, that monster is destroyed at the end of the damage step. So onto the XCs, I'm playing 2 copies of Witch Wardrobe and the 1 copy of Glass Goddess. Wardrobe can detach a material special summoning Magistus from deck while equipped to a monster. I can negate the effects of a monster my opponent controls. 2 copies, I like 1 to summon and have another as an option to equip if I so choose. Glass Goddess can detach to recycle a level 4 or higher spellcaster back to my hand. While equipped, my monster can make 2 attacks on monsters. Plus, if it's equipped, I can destroy one of my own Magistus cards in the spell trap zone to destroy one of my opponent's back row. For the deck's fusion monster, I run 2 copies of Iwas, the Magistus Spell Spirit. Sorry here. So play 1 if you like. I'm a fan of all the effects, and a second copy gives me freedom to either equip or summon a Iwas, as its on the field quick effect can equip itself to any monster my opponent controls, allowing me to take control of it without any restrictions of negated effects or being unable to attack. And when equipped, my monster gains 1,000 attack and defense. Filling out the last 4 slots with 1 copy of Selene, 1 copy of Abyss Dweller, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, and 1 Nightmare Unicorn, concluding my Magistus deck profile for December 2024. Thank you for watching. If there's anything you like or dislike, please leave me a comment telling me your thoughts. I enjoy interacting with everyone in the community. Be sure to like the video if you did, share with people you know, hit subscribe, get notified for more content. As always, thank you for the love and support by tuning into Sacred Cards. Make the most of your Yu-Gi-Oh experience, be creative, have fun.